Some careers are built slowly, quietly, step by step. Others explode onto the world like a supernova. But then, there are stories like Lionel Messi's. Stories that almost never even had the chance to begin. Before the world saw the goals, the trophies, the records, there was a moment when his dream was hanging by a thread. So thin, in fact, that a few different decisions could have erased the greatest football career ever recorded. This is that story. His family, his coaches, his teammates, they all saw it. They knew he was destined for greatness. But off the pitch, a silent, invisible opponent was working against him. As Messi got older, the gap between him and his friends became impossible to ignore. He wasn't growing. While other kids were shooting up, getting taller and stronger, Leo stayed small. Month after month, year after year, nothing. At first, his family might have brushed it off. He's just a late bloomer, they probably told themselves. But as time went on, that small worry grew into a serious concern. The difference was just too stark. He was the smallest kid in his class, the smallest on his team. His incredible talent was trapped in a body that refused to keep up. Eventually, the family was told to see a specialist. They probably walked into that doctor's office expecting a simple explanation. Maybe some dietary advice or a reassurance that everything was fine. They walked out carrying a reality no parent ever wants to hear. The diagnosis was growth hormone deficiency. It's a rare condition that meant Lionel's body could not produce the hormones it needed to grow on its own. Without treatment, he would never reach an average height. He would never develop the physical strength required for professional sports. The doctor's words must have hit them like a physical blow. The solution was a series of regular, expensive hormone injections. And when I say expensive, I mean unbelievably expensive. Around $900 a month. This was a cost that was far, far beyond what his working-class family could manage. His father was a factory worker, his mother a part-time cleaner. They worked hard, but this was a different league of financial burden. Just try to put yourself in that situation for a moment. Imagine being a child, barely a teenager, and hearing that your biggest dream, the one thing you live and breathe for, requires an amount of money that your parents simply don't have. Imagine loving football so deeply, feeling it in your soul, and then realizing your own body might betray you and might not let you chase that dream. For young Leo, this wasn't just a medical issue. It was an existential threat to his entire identity. Those injections weren't just medicine. They were the only thing standing between a future in professional football and the end of a story that had barely even started. The clock was ticking. The treatment needed to begin as soon as possible for it to be effective. The family was desperate. They knocked on every door they could think of. Leo's local club, Noel's Old Boys, initially promised to help, but soon backed out, unwilling to shoulder the immense costs for such a young player, no matter how talented. They even reached out to some of Argentina's biggest clubs, like River Plate. They were impressed by his skill, but the price tag of his treatment scared them away too. Door after door slammed shut. Can you feel the desperation? The hope draining away with each rejection. For any other family, for any other kid, this might have been the end of the road. It would have been completely understandable to give up, to accept that some dreams are just too expensive. But this wasn't just any family, and this certainly wasn't just any kid. This is where the story takes a turn. A leap of faith that would change the history of football forever. The Messi family had some relatives in Catalonia, Spain. They had heard about a legendary club with a world-famous youth academy, FC Barcelona. It was a long shot, a crazy, desperate gamble. But they decided to arrange a trial. Leo and his father packed their bags and flew across the Atlantic, carrying with them a flicker of hope and a whole lot of uncertainty. When they arrived in Barcelona, Leo was just 13 years old. He was homesick, shy, and intimidated by his new surroundings. He was a small Argentinian kid in a land of giants. During his trial, he played with boys who were older, taller, and physically stronger. But then, the ball came to his feet, and everything changed. The coaches, the scouts, the club executives, they were left speechless. They had never seen anything like it. This tiny boy moved with a grace and intelligence that was light years ahead of everyone else on the field. One of the club directors, Carlos Rexach was so blown away and so terrified of losing him that he famously drew up a contract right then and there, on a napkin. A simple paper napkin became one of the most important documents in sports history. On it, Rexach wrote that FC Barcelona committed to signing Lionel Messi and, crucially, paying for his entire medical treatment. That napkin wasn't just a contract, it was a lifeline. It was the club betting everything on a 13-year-old boy's potential. They saw past his height, past his medical condition, and saw the heart of a champion. The relief the Messi family must have felt is impossible to imagine. Their gamble had paid off. Hope was restored. And so, the treatment began. Every single night, for years, young Leo had to inject himself with the growth hormones. He would carry a small cooler bag with him everywhere he went. While his friends were out playing, he had this daily medical ritual. He'd inject his own legs, night after night. He once said in an interview that it just became a routine, like brushing his teeth. He didn't see it as a sacrifice. He saw it as the necessary step to achieve his dream. This daily act of discipline, this quiet resilience, tells you everything you need to know about his character. He was fighting a battle no one else could see, and he was winning it, one injection at a time. The family moved to Barcelona permanently. It was a huge cultural shift. They left their home, their friends, and their life in Argentina behind. For a while, Leo was so quiet and withdrawn at the academy that his teammates thought he was mute. But on the pitch, he did all the talking. He quickly rose through the ranks of La Masia, Barcelona's youth academy, shattering records at every level. It became clear that the club's massive gamble was going to pay off in ways they could uneven have dreamed of. And the rest, as they say, is history. But here's the part the world loves to celebrate. The part his illness almost stole. Messi went on to achieve what no player in history has done. He won 8 Ballon d'Ors, a record so absurd it may never be matched. He scored over 800 career goals, numbers that sound like something from a video game. He lifted 40+ trophies, bringing glory to Barcelona, to PSG, to Argentina, and to the sport itself. He delivered the impossible dribble versus Getafe club, the solo runs that echoed Maradona, the 91-goal year that rewrote what we consider normal, Champions League masterclasses, the famous Barcelona trebles, and the World Cup performance that crowned an already mythic career. That night in Qatar, when he held the World Cup trophy, the entire footballing world knew they were watching the final chapter of a story that almost never existed. Lionel Messi didn't just grow into an average-sized adult, he grew into a footballing titan. He went on to win every trophy imaginable, break countless records, and be celebrated by millions as the greatest of all time. But think about that turning point. What if his family had given up? What if Barcelona hadn't been willing to take that risk? What if a club director hadn't had a napkin in his pocket at that exact moment? The entire landscape of modern football would look completely different. We would have been robbed of a magician. This story isn't just about football. It's a powerful lesson about perseverance, about a family's unconditional love, and about believing in a dream so fiercely that you're willing to cross an ocean for it. It's about seeing potential where others only see problems. Messi's small stature, the very thing that almost ended his career, became one of his greatest assets. His low center of gravity gave him that unbelievable balance and agility that no defender can handle. The obstacle became his superpower. So next time you watch Messi play, remember the little boy from Rosario injecting his own legs every night. Remember the family that risked everything, and remember the napkin that changed the world. It's a reminder that sometimes the biggest giants come in the smallest packages, and the greatest stories are born from the toughest struggles. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content just like this. See you in the next one.